God, alien, you scared me. Scared the hell out of me.
I was wondering when you would get up.
Indeed. You made some improvements, I see.
Yes, I made many improvements.
Beep. Alright. Oh,
Come on up here.
this is much more efficient. I like it.
We have some windows for visibility.
And
We
smart.
have catwalks around this area, so we can mess around with this stuff, access the connector.
Excellent, excellent.
We've got all around windows, so yes,
Hmm.
this is what I was working on.
I'll admit, it's very impressive. How long was I out?
Not that long. Although I was surprised you were able to get any sleep with all the noise I was making.
Me too. I must ask, though, I never got your name, I don't think.
My name is impossible for your species to pronounce. Most of it falls outside your auditory detection range.
Understandable.
So, before we get going today, I'm thinking we should create a to-do list. So, let's get back in the base.
Indeed. You'd mentioned a mining vessel. That should be our first move.
Yes, mining vessel. Let me get some materials. Let's see, do we have any I have computers on me. There we go, computers. Material plates, displays are what we really need. There. Alright. Just give me a second, I'm setting up an LCD.
Understandable.
Feel free to look around.
Indeed. You know, on thinking about it, perhaps we should have constructed an antenna. Just, if nothing else, so that we can see enemies approaching from farther. Some sort of receiver.
Perhaps,
Ah well,
perhaps.
it won't be too necessary if we don't intend to remain here.
Looks like the dust is back.
Unfortunate, but at least we have a functional shelter now.
Alright, so on the to-do list, first is build a miner. And coinciding with that, we need to scrap the underside of the ship first. Like, these interior blocks right here need to go. And then after that, we scrap the functional blocks.
Indeed. You begin the designs of the mining vessel. I will
Yes.
deconstruct the
I'll
ship and bring you materials.
try to deconstruct the floor to begin with.
Indeed.
We won't really be needing the floor.
No, I can't imagine we will.
We will need many steel plates.
Of course. We have about 200 to start off with. I'm assuming we no longer need the... Ooh, there's another corpse. I missed it. I'm assuming we no longer need the ship's power operational.
No.
Very well, I will pull the remaining fuel from it.
There is a programmable block in directly behind the wreckage on the ground. Do not destroy it.
That's
This is
the
a law.
log. I assumed
I'm
as
going
much.
to paint it red.
Indeed. The ship's power systems are no longer operational.
Good, good.
Even if there
Okay,
was a
the log
hidden
is
beacon
painted
neither of
red.
us could detect, it's no longer transmitting. Though I don't believe there would have been one.
No, there wouldn't be. Luckily.
Quite. Still, even if that original beacon wasn't transmitting for long, there's still a chance someone will have picked up the signal.
Yes,
I maintain that we
there's
should
a
remain
chance.
here as short a time as possible.
I agree with you.
Ah, that's an issue. Only a minor one. Oh, hello, alien. This uranium is doing weird things.
It tends to do that.
Indeed. The good news is we now have power for quite some time. I will avoid destroying the red program block.
Very to see in these conditions.
Indeed. Why are you coming down here for supplies? Is there not a connector on the roof?
I can be a little scatterbrained sometimes.
Well, no being is perfect. Even a
No,
mysterious
not at all.
alien. That pillar's annoying.
Well, did what I had to do to keep the catwalk up.
Of course. Well, the good news is, even if the enemy do recover this ship, they'll never be flying it again.
Definitely not. That ship is completely ruined.
Indeed. Well, we have plenty of steel plates. And definitely motors as well. It's a pity we could not make use of the vessel's remaining batteries.
Aye.
I'm attempting to find whatever is underground and on fire. Ah, there it is. Perhaps. No. Or not. Ah, now I have found it. The main hydrogen thrusters. How did it even manage to get... Well, I've eliminated the last of what was on fire at the front of the craft.
Good. Good. Always good to hear.
So, no more danger of explosions.
Excellent, excellent.
Some danger
We
of
do not
bouncing,
want
though.
anything. Yeah, we don't want anything blowing up.
Indeed.
Nobody wants explosions,
It would be problematic.
to say the least.
I keep finding more thrusters just when you think you've got 'em all. You uncover another one.
That's how it works.
Unfortunately, none of them are ion-based, so we don't have any of the components. A few months in space dock and this thing might be repairable. The problem at this point would be getting it to space dock.
Yeah. Especially given whatever took it down.
Indeed. question is if it's still out there, and if so, if we'll run into it getting off this rock.
Yeah, that is a worrying prospect.
To say the least. The good news is, for now at least, we have no shortage of motors. However, so many of those are required for larger engines. It still will not last.
Yes. Motors are often rather annoying.
Indeed. Do you
From
happen
my
to know
experience.
anything about this world that we're on?
Not re- I don't think so.
Unfortunate. We'll need to figure out what resources this rock has. If it's lacking some, we're
Something
stuck.
something seems familiar, but I don't know what it is.
That is arguably even more worrying than knowing nothing.
I did it again, didn't I?
What?
Discomforting you.
We're humans. That happens a lot. Well, I'm human.
I understand what you meant.
Yeah. How did the ship get like this? So much of it's embedded in the ground unreasonably, even for a crash.
Yes.
Some parts are entirely buried with no sign of how they got that way.
We're going to need to construct some power cells.
Indeed. I'm going to...
Black fuel.
Ah! There's some in the
No,
jump drive.
ooh.
I will strip it and return those.
Power cell. I don't think you can get power cells from salvage, sadly.
Ah, right.
So we need to start using our refinery we have
We have a
to melt
refinery?
them. Yes, that's one of the improvements I made.
Ah, I didn't notice. I still do not notice. I'm discovering I'm blind. My blindness. These spacesuits don't come with glasses.
Go outside.
Ah, now I see. Hmm. Perhaps a method of accessing the roof and landing pad more easily might be in order.
Yes, I was thinking of that. I already have an idea for how to do that. I'm just slightly busy with other things right now.
Namely the construction vessel. Mining vessel, rather.
Exactly.
I will finish uninstalling this jump drive. No, you can get power cells back from it.
Really?
Indeed, I'm carrying some. 120 in that jump drive. They eat energy like nothing else.
Well, I already assembled 20 I need.
The more the better.
But that is helpful. Yes, the more the better.
There are also detector components in the jump drive, although I can't think why. And gravity generator components, which, although we have some, will
Perhaps
still be.
to detect. Perhaps the detector components are to detect gravity wells.
Hmm. Perhaps. Whoa. My suit is still experiencing a few bugs, it seems.
Hmm.
In any case, we have detector components and plenty of extra power cells.
It's always good.
Indeed. The jump drive has been uninstalled successfully.
Excellent.
Even if they do find this ship before we tear it down, they'll never be getting it back to space dock without tugs.
Agreed. I intend to remove everything.
As do I. There's no shortage of useful parts aboard.
The only thing we might leave would be the upper hull.
Nonsense. We could always use the steel. Besides, I've
Yes.
already disassembled a fair part of it. Ow.
If we run out of time, we will leave the upper hull.
If nothing else, we could perhaps convert the mining ship temporarily into a deconstruction vessel. Quicken our
Yes.
salvage operation. I'll focus on the critical components for now. Thrusters, fuel tanks, etc. The
Yes.
the steel is nice, but ultimately a secondary concern. Well, I've added another to the list of reasons why this ship will never be taking off again. All but one of its hydrogen tanks are gone, and as well as all of its primary thrust. Well, upward thrust.
If I'm not mistaken, that ship ran mainly on hydrogen.
And it has no functioning tanks left, so nowhere fast. That
Yes.
is where it's going.
If they do get it back, it'll be a write-off.
Indeed. Easier to do what we're doing and take the whole thing apart. really feel a lot more comfortable if we had more intel on our location relative to their naval base.
I would too, but we don't have that luxury.
Unfortunately, you're right. Alright, I believe I've removed almost all of the useful components from the disconnected front portion of the ship.
Excellent.
This thing is in significantly worse condition than we found it.
It's in that good condition then.
True enough, true enough. But at least it could theoretically have flown with repairs and digging.
Yes. Lots of digging.
Which is probably the main reason we didn't try that.
Yes.
Say,
Also, we would have had to hack large portions of it.
of course, that is also correct. Say, once we get off this rock, seeing as these guys hate us already, what say we cause a little more trouble for them?
I like that idea, and it's in line with what I've been doing.
I like you more already.
Although, to be honest, my very existence causes them trouble.
All the more reason we better get off this rock in one piece.
Yes.
Weather's worsening again.
Yes, these dust storms are rather annoying.
Indeed. And alarmingly frequent.
Yes. Alarmingly frequent.
I have entirely deconstructed the frontmost portion of the vessel.
Excellent.
I somehow keep winding up with more scrap. Which can't be a bad thing, considering
Seems
it's
to
giving
happen.
us plenty of iron.
Yes.
That seems to be the only thing we're not short on at the moment.
I've worked in salvage, can confirm that tends to happen a lot.
It's used for most things I've found. Hmm. Half our uranium still does not exist according to my suit,
Of course.
despite me knowing full well I put it in that reactor.
Perhaps we should attempt to attach some batteries to our shelter?
Reserve power?
Yes,
A good idea.
never a bad idea. Hm, Jetpack. More hydrogen. Well, you can jump off the roof without hurting yourself.
That is a lie. Unless your survival suit, of course, is drastically better than my own. Which is admittedly possible.
Well, it may just be a factor of my biology,
Also possible.
but it is rather convenient.
I'm working my way backward in terms of salvage. I've removed all the hydrogen tanks at this point. Everything forward of the bridge is now gone.
Excellent.
Well, gone or buried beyond my reach.
I built another hydrogen bottle, two oxygen bottles. You now have an oxygen bottle and a hydrogen bottle ready for use.
Excellent. Thank you, alien.
You're welcome.
How goes the mining vessel?
Well,
I'm glad to hear it.
nothing fancy. In fact, it's rather atrocious looking, but that's not the point of it.
The point is to keep us alive and gather what resources we need.
Exactly.
So long as it will serve
That
in
is
that
probably
capacity, I don't care much
one
about.
of the uglier things I've built for sure.
Hmm. I'm sure I'd feel a lot worse about tearing apart this vessel if I wasn't imprisoned on it yesterday.
Yes.
I'm stripping out the remaining power systems, the offline reactors, and the batteries. Oh, interesting. I've made a discovery.
A discovery? Of what type?
Two of the ship's gyroscopes were intact.
Hmm. I remember grinding down one fairly early after we crashed.
Hmm. Well, another two have plenty of materials. I expect the weather should clear up soon. At least I would
Hopefully.
hope. Alright. I've removed the antenna. Damaged as it was, there's no longer any chance of a distress signal being sent out. I've also begun removing the last of both the main and secondary thrusters, I believe.
Yes.
Certainly the last of the main drive units, at least. I will admit, this ship could not have been cheap to construct. Unfortunate now that we're taking it apart in days. These things tend to be built over months. The
Well, it's
weather's
their
nice again, though.
expense.
Indeed. Where did you leave those bottles?
They're in the O2H2 generator.
That is very odd.
They automatically remove there by the base conveyor system.
No, I mean it is odd that my suit does not register them.
Great. Alright. Come here.
A moment, as my as I have just been deleted by a falling gyroscope.
Oh dear.
Indeed. My fault for...
The dangers of salvage.
You know, I think I read a paper titled that. Ah, thank you.
Bottles are right there at your feet, and there's a large amount of scrap and some steel plates.
Which I think may well be the last of that gyro. The steel plates, likewise, do not exist. Oh, Now they're scrap, and that does exist. Got to love damaged suits.
Yes.
Oh, a connector. Useful. Most of the critical components of the ship have been removed. There's a couple of batteries, some conveyors, and the oxygen tanks left, but that's just about it.
Good to hear.
Other than that, it's just armor and flooring.
Mining ship is close to completion.
Excellent. Oh, well, what do you know? It turns out there was a thruster lift on the ship. Not anymore, however. A singular steel plate. If I may suggest, once the miner is complete and we've located additional resources, the next thing we construct should be a larger transport of some kind
Yes.
to move the supplies we've
I'm
accumulated.
thinking we should, if we're going to vacate this area, we should probably build a mobile base.
Indeed. An aerial base or a wheeled one is the question.
Hmm.
Personally, I would go with wheeled, as
Yes.
in an aerial base, if the thruster is, you'll take more damage from the fall usually than the weapons that brought you down.
Yes.
It's also less power intensive and resource intensive to keep running, as we don't have to worry
Agreed.
about fueling the engines. And down she goes. You know, overall, our situation could be a lot worse.
Agreed. Although, you don't want to tempt Murphy's Law.
Ah, I believe that was only a human concept.
You've exported it, just like many other things.
I'm unsure whether that was a compliment. I believe I may be able to almost finish deconstructing the vessel today. Actually, I feel I should ask before it is completely dead. What was the vessel's name, if we know?
It was in one of the LCD panels.
Hmm. Well, that
I believe
is
it was a string of numbers.
that is gone now. So, hmm.
It was just a string of numbers anyways.
Well, this is all that remains. You were correct. We are unable to retrieve power cells from batteries. However, it seems from the jump drive was different. And on that note, the ship is now officially dead. All power systems are gone. She'll never even have the potential of flying again. I really do hope my suit's onboard recorders are functioning fully. This will make an interesting report to show Earth Space Command,
Hmm.
considering from what I remember, I don't believe they would have willingly allowed me to be imprisoned by them. How is it that effectively every single light on the vessel was damaged, even if the systems around them were whole? Well, the only thing remotely approaching a critical system remaining from the vessel is the programmable block. All else that
Yes.
remains is
Please leave that on the ground.
I have already agreed to. Well, there are a few lights as well on the exterior, apparently. I will do my best to avoid bringing down large portions of the ship on top of the block you wish left.
You're quite efficient.
Indeed. Makes me wonder what I did for a living. It helps that I'm no longer worried about suffocating to death, as I was yesterday. Oh, there's blast doors aboard. There's um well, not sure what quite happened there, considering I hit the ground after the blast doors. Um, we're just, yeah. Yeah.
I've moved some of the uranium to the mining ship
Smart.
so that we can continue to charge its battery.
Best to perhaps keep some aboard. Having only one source of power will doom a vessel to failure. Did we lose some of the base's lights? No, I've just turned mine off.
Look up.
Ah, excellent. Am I to assume you will be departing to look for resources then?
Not quite yet. I first need to install an ore detector.
Ah, perhaps that is a useful addition. I will continue to deconstruct what remains of this vessel. What do you intend to do with the programmable block?
I'm going to place landing gear on the ship, and I will place it on the... I'll place it inside of the base
Hmm.
for now.
It is still entirely intact,
Excellent.
which is remarkable considering the state of everything else, even before I got to it.
There are going to be some components on the ground.
I will retrieve them.
Okay, the programmable block has been grabbed. I'm going to deposit it inside of the base.
Indeed. Missile containers. Sir, you cannot fit that vessel through those doors with that block.
Since unfortunate, it will go on the roof then.
That might be better. If only we could do something about these blasted dust storms.
If only. There will be some more components on the ground. My inventory is full.
Stop doing that. Or if you're going to do it, at least tell me where they're going to be so I can collect them.
I'm going to go searching for wars.
Very well. I do not anticipate this ship being here when you return.
Excellent salvage work.
Thank you. I'm starting to believe I may have prior experience.
Perhaps. Found some iron.
Excellent. Not the most rare thing, but very useful nonetheless.
This is strangely satisfying.
Hmm. As is this. You know, we make quite an efficient team, the two of us.
Yes, it appears so.
An amnesiac and an alien. Interesting combination, that. Oh,
Yes,
I have
indeed.
just dropped the entire top hull of the ship on myself. Perhaps I don't have as much prior experience as I believed.
Perhaps, perhaps.
Well, just makes it easier to salvage. Oh, that was unintentional. Hmm. What? What have I done?
miner is rather effective and efficient, although it could do with some extra forward thrust.
Well, I've been able to confirm my suit's camera drone is functional.
Excellent. One thing I've noticed about humans is that you require a lot of sleep.
Indeed, it is among our most unfortunate traits. Why do you mention this?
Because compared to the amount of time that my species needs to rest to function the next day, you are asleep for a very long time.
Hmm.
However, compared to many humans, on average, your sleep time last night was relatively minimal.
Hmm. Intriguing. All save the remaining portion of the top hull is gone from the vessel. I believe within a few more minutes I will have completed disassembly. What?
I'm returning to base with a large quantity of iron and also stone,
Excellent.
which unfortunate byproduct.
It still has its uses.
Agreed. It does have its uses. And since we have a survival kit, we can convert stone into ores.
Indeed. I appear to have completed the disassembly process.
hello.
Hello. I have completed disassembly of the vessel.
Excellent work.
Thank you. I do appear to be standing on thin air. That is interesting.
Perhaps you should build your own vessel.
I do not believe I am all too competent with construction. However, I may begin at least the frame of a larger mobile base.
Actually, on second thought, I'm thinking about digging a basement for this base.
What purpose would it serve if we are to abandon it shortly?
Well, yes, but it might be useful to move some things down. In fact, how about I'll set the ship up on top of the base, begin the battery recharging, then you can go off mining.
Perhaps. I need steel. How
I have
large?
a design for the mobile base that I would like to try out.
Ah, then you should begin constructing that.
Yes. Alright, ship, battery, recharge.
Hmm. Perhaps progression on the mobile base will begin while I am asleep. I am tired once more.
Perhaps.
And I believe I will also take some time to work on restoring more of my suit's functionality.
Sounds like a good idea.
Until later, alien. Until later.
Likewise.